Good morning, everyone. Good morning, Jai Hind, Namaskar. And I welcome you all to this daily editorial analysis session. So I hope I am properly audible and visible to all of you. Good morning. I am very good. And I hope that all of you are also doing well. So I welcome you all to this session. And like I told you yesterday that we will have a slightly delayed session just for today. But from tomorrow onwards, we will have the session at the time which is 8:15. So from tomorrow onwards, we will have the session at the exact time, that is 8:15. Just for today, we are having the session at 10 a.m. Okay. So now I welcome you all to this session. And in today's session, we have got two such articles which we are going to discuss. One of the first article which we are going to talk about is with respect to NATO, Europe and India. Okay. Chaliye. So this is one of the time like when everyone can be free. Yes. So those who are late, like those who are waking up late also, those who woke up late also, they also can catch up at this 10 a.m. right? So here we see, this is one of the topic, NATO, Europe and India. Now we have discussed a similar topic in past also, but we are going to see it again. This one topic is getting repeated. So here we are going to talk about NATO, Europe and India. The second thing is, we are going to talk about the second article, which is a statehood for Jammu and Kashmir. This is going to be our second article. In today's The Hindu, there were two articles which were of huge for us. So we are going to discuss both of them. Okay. So let us start with this and then we will have two answers practice today. आज हम लोग दो आंसर को भी देखेंगे कि how to write those answers, what you have to keep in mind when there is a certain keyword like elaborate or elucidate, what should be your strategy. So we are going to look into that part also. So let us start this. This is the one part. NATO enters a new strategic era of transformation. That NATO is now in an era of transformation. So we are going to talk about this. The core idea, if we are talking about this, what is the core theme here? What is the core theme here? It is being said that there is a transformation. There is a transformation in NATO. That is one of the part, that there is a transformation in NATO. And then the second part is the implications for India. The implications for India. That how it is going to affect us. That's why we are reading this. That how it is going to impact us. How there is going to be a change in India with respect to this. So that is one thing which we are going to talk about in this session. First thing is the transformation in NATO. The second part is implications for India. These are the two main themes which we have to see here. Okay. Now, what we see that it has been divided into three phases. There are three phases of NATO which we can see here. Okay. It is being said that first there is NATO 1.0. There is NATO 1.0. This is the time of 1949 to 1991. This is the phase of Cold War. This is the phase of Cold War. The NATO 1.0, okay, here we see that there was a heavy dependence on United States. There was a heavy dependence on United States. There was heavy dependence on United States. There was a continuous threat. There was a continuous threat from Soviet Union. There was a continuous threat from Soviet Union, and the Europe was almost entirely dependent on United States. That was the first phase. Okay. Here we see that the United States was having a strong nuclear umbrella. Okay. And there was a strong nuclear umbrella nuclear umbrella of US. So this was acting as a safety net. This was a safety net for Europe. And what we see that during this phase, during the NATO 1.0, it was also about preserving the transatlantic unity. This was also about preserving transatlantic unity. So that was the phase, that was the first phase of NATO, the NATO 1.1, when the major focus was on this part, that how we are going to safeguard Europe. Here the focus was US was also interested. US was also interested because there were two poles at that time. On one side US, on other side Russia. So US was having this interest that if we are having Europe on our side, then there will be a much more better defense. There will be a much more better defense. Plus, at the same time, United States was also using Europe as a buffer. That even if Russia attacks, they will first be attacking whom? They will be attacking the European countries. So it was a buffer zone. It was a kind of buffer zone for US also. So NATO 1.1 was about this. Then we see that then there was the phase of NATO 2.0. There was the second phase, NATO 2.0. This was post Cold War. Okay, this was from 1991 to 2022. Okay. This was NATO 2.1. What we see that this NATO started eastward expansion. This was the phase of expansion of NATO. Okay. This was the phase where we were having expansion of the NATO. Those countries who were earlier not part of NATO, the East European countries. Here we see that the East European countries, the East European nations became part of NATO. The East European nations, they became part of NATO. Here we see that in this time we have seen that there was the European countries reduced expenditure on defense because now the immediate threat was over. So what we see that the European nations, what they did, they have reduced the spending on military. They have reduced the spending on the defense architecture or defense networks. Okay. There was more and more dependence on US. Okay. There was a higher dependence on US for logistics, intelligence, weapon, security. So this was the phase. This was the second phase of NATO. Where NATO has become more of US concentrated. US was giving more and more fund under this NATO 2.0. US was giving more and more fund. US was trying to have an entire control over the world during this time. Okay, so you can see that the United States is starting having military adventures in the Central Asia or the Middle East during this time. Even they have reached up to Afghanistan also by the time. So we see that this was a phase where the European partners were almost silent and they were getting the entire security coverage by United States. So this was the second phase. Now what we see that then after, now we see that there is a third phase. There is a third phase of NATO. Now we see that there is NATO 3.0. 2022 to present. Like after the US attack on Ukraine, we have seen that, sorry, Russia attack. Okay, we see that Russia attacked Ukraine. This has halted the eastward expansion. This has halted the eastward expansion of NATO. This is something which has halted the eastward expansion of NATO. We have seen that now there is more pressure. There is more pressure by US on European nations to increase defense spending. There is a higher pressure. There is a higher pressure on this European nations that now we have to go for higher spending. There has been a very huge amount of time when you have not been spending on the military assets, you have not been spending on defense capabilities. So now we see that there is a more pressure by United States on the European nations that you have to go for this increased defense spending. So US is still the net security provider, but there is an urge for European nations to spend more on defense. Okay, so US remains the net security provider, but European countries have started taking responsibility. European countries have started taking responsibility. So these are the three things or three phases of NATO which you can see. There are three different phases of NATO which you can see from NATO 1.0 to NATO 3.0, how the things have been going on with respect to NATO. So this is first thing, the three phases of NATO. Now what we see that recently we have seen the NATO summit. Can you tell me where this was organized? Can you tell me this year the NATO summit was organized in which country? Any idea? In which country we have got this NATO summit this year? Any idea about this? In which country we have seen the NATO spending? Sorry, NATO summit this year? I think you may be aware about this, that recently there was this NATO summit. Yes, Turkey. Okay. So what we see that NATO summit was there in Antalya, Turkey. Okay. Now here there is a reaffirmation. There is a reaffirmation by NATO members. There is a reaffirmation by NATO members towards collective defense under Article 5. Under this Article 5. That is one of the part. Then there was this one again thing that European countries, we see that the European nations, they are having a commitment to increase defense spending to 3.5% of GDP by 2035. So this is one thing which they have committed, that they are going to have at least 3.5. The overall target is to have, okay, the overall target is to have 5% spending of GDP. The overall target is 5%. What we see that the overall target is 5% of GDP. But right now they are committing at least 5% of GDP by 2035. Okay. So we see that like many of the countries have already started working on this, whether we are talking about Germany, France or others, they have already started working on this. Now the thing is, like, what are the implications on India? Okay. They have also, so one more thing, this NATO summit also led to establishment of defense manufacturing bases across Europe. There was also one key component, that there will be establishment of defense manufacturing bases in the European region. So these are the things which have changed here. These are the things which we see that have changed here in case of this NATO. That what recent changes are there. Now in this respect, if we are talking about this, that what will be the implication for India, how it is going to have a implication for India. What is the implication for India? And there are two parts of it. If we look at this, there are two parts of it. One of the part is that US can focus more on other regions, such as Indo-Pacific. So here it will be useful in challenging over assertiveness of China. This is going to audible? I hope now it is audible to you. I hope now it is audible. Is it audible now? Is it audible now properly? Okay. So what I am saying that there is one option. India can collaborate with European nations with respect to defense manufacturing, research and development, technology sharing. And at the same time, we have other opportunity. We have another opportunity that we can look for export of Indian weapons to Europe. Now see, this is one of our strategy. We have been pushing our exports. And this provides us an opportunity. Europe can become one of that major destinations where we can be exporting our defense technology. And it's not that we always have to just send the missiles. We don't have to always sell just this missiles, or we don't have to sell always this like for example, we have that submarines or other things. There can be export of many other smaller equipments also, from bulletproof jackets to anti-drone guns or the different drones which we are manufacturing in India. So there can be supply of n number of things in the case of defense. So we have this dual opportunity. Here in case of this transformation in the NATO. I hope it's clear. So this is the first part. The NATO is transforming. So how it is impacting India, or what will be the the transformation of NATO brings a significant opportunity for India. Discuss 150 words. So I think this is one answer which you all can easily write now, that how it is an opportunity for India. I think you can write this now. Okay. Now coming to the second article. Okay. Which is with respect to Jammu and Kashmir. This is the second article which is with respect to Jammu and Kashmir. So today is 5th of August. Okay. So 5th August 2019. 5th August 2019. The first part of implication was this. पहला part ये था कि the United States can focus more on other regions such as Indo-Pacific. So if India and US can collaborate, this will be useful in challenging the over assertiveness of China in the South China region, or the Indo-Pacific region, or the Bay of Bengal region. So this one partnership, this one alliance can bring hope in this region also. China is becoming too much assertive. So this is also one option for us. Okay. So China's rise is transforming global alliances without direct military conflict. Yes, of course. It is impacting a lot of things. So China is a major power right now. The second major global power is China. In case of many things, it is the major power. Okay. So US still remains a dominant force, but China has become equally powerful. So according to this article, how this NATO change can impact us. Okay. Now coming to the next article. 5th August 2019. What happened? There was change in the status of Jammu and Kashmir. What we have seen, Article 370, it was abrogated. we have seen that Jammu and Kashmir, it got divided in two union territories. One was UT of Jammu and Kashmir, and second was Union Territory of Ladakh. Okay. So between 5th of August to 9th of August, 5th August से लेकर 9th August तक these changes were there. Okay. So what we see that like these changes have been seen with respect to Jammu and Kashmir in that region. Okay. Sir, current affairs कब आएगा? Current affairs, I have told you multiple times that right now the situation is this, that for this year 2026 we are having these two things. One is the editorial session in the morning where we are discussing 2-3 mains topic on daily basis, plus we are having one daily current affairs session in the evening. We have added one more thing, that at the end of each month or after every 15 days we are going to have a revision session, and in that revision session we are going to focus on the most important topic for prelims. So right now these things are already going on with respect to current affairs in KGS. Okay. Now it's not in the form of batch, but it's not that we are not covering topic. In fact, we are covering more and more topics and much more holistically. So you will find that as compared to Adhyan batch, we are covering more topics of mains, plus we are doing regular answer writing. So I will suggest all of you, please go through this. Okay. So this is one of the part that what happened with respect to Jammu and Kashmir. Now the thing is, when we are talking about this change, what was the main idea? Okay, what was the intent behind it? The intent was improving governance. Development of the entire region, combating terrorism and insurgency. Okay. Combating terrorism and insurgency, plus at the same time integration of Jammu and Kashmir and the Ladakh region in a proper manner with the rest of India. Okay. That the integration of Jammu and Kashmir and Ladakh properly with rest of India. And here the aim was legislative, administrative, uniformity. Legislative and administrative uniformity. This was the major intent. This is why we have gone for this abrogation of Article 370. Jammu and Kashmir was divided. Okay. We have seen that recently there has been elections also. Now, what things changed? Okay. What changed politically in Jammu and Kashmir? What had changed politically in Jammu and Kashmir? We have seen that this is now a UT. from a state to UT. Okay. It has been converted from a state to UT. The LG is having significantly higher power as compared to governor of other states, Okay. So we see that the state has been converted in form of UT. The LG is having higher power. We see that the land police, okay, we see that the land and police and public order, this is under the control of LG. Okay. So we see that land, police, public order, these are the things which are under control of LG. Or we can assume under control of union government. So this is one of the part. Okay. We have seen that there has been recent changes. We have seen elections to J&K Assembly, Jammu and Kashmir Assembly in 2024. There has been elections to Jammu and Kashmir Assembly in 2024. That is one of the part which we have seen. Okay. There is a established government also in this region. We have seen that there is a continuous demand. There is a continuous demand. There is a continuous demand, that is restoration of statehood of Jammu and Kashmir. There is a demand of restoration of Jammu and Kashmir. There are certain people, LG means lieutenant governor, like we have governor in other states. So in case of union territories, there is LG, the lieutenant governor or the lieutenant governor, who are just like governor but having more powers. They are just like governors but they are having more power. So like in Delhi also you are having LG. So in same manner in the Jammu and Kashmir also you are having a LG. In place of simple governor you are having a LG. So LG is comparatively having more power. Now what we see, that there is a continuous demand, and that demand is there should be restoration of statehood of Jammu and Kashmir. There is some other demands also. There are certain people who are also demanding that Article 370 should be back in the same manner as it was there pre-2019. But that demand is not going to be fulfilled at all. That is one clear thing. Article 370, what has been done has been done. There is going to be no change in that at all. There will be no such political party in India, even in future, which will go for this. Okay. So what has been done with respect to Article 370 is settled forever. So this thing is not going to change. That is one part which is clear. There is another part which is the demand of restoration of statehood of Jammu and Kashmir. There is this one demand, restoration of this statehood of Jammu and Kashmir, which the union government will also say that it will be done in the future when the conditions become proper. When the conditions become proper, it will be done. Okay. But the thing is, there are certain existing challenges. With respect to Jammu and Kashmir. There are certain existing challenges. There are certain existing challenges which we see with respect to this Jammu and Kashmir. Okay. There is the recent Jammu and Kashmir economic survey. Jammu and Kashmir economic survey of 2025-26. Now this one reveals, this Jammu and Kashmir survey, it reveals that per capita income, the per capita income is 76.6% of national per capita income. Okay. So per capita income is lower than the national average. It means in the last 7 years, we have not been able to cope up with that. In fact, what has been seen that it was 79.9% in 2013-14. This one was 17.9% of per capita income in 2013-14. So we see that the per capita income was higher in case of 2013-14 as compared to the present times. So per capita income has actually declined. Unemployment, if we talk about this, the unemployment level is twice that of national average. Twice that of national average. So the per capita income is twice that of national average. The graduate unemployment, it remains at 23.9%. It remains at 23.9%, which is a very high number. Okay. Now, what we see that there is another part of it. And that is when we are talking about Jammu and Kashmir, it has seen very high incidences of internet shutdown since 2019. Very higher incidences of internet shutdown since 2019. Okay. So we see that the per capita income or the economic reforms have been not there. With respect to the freedom, you know that right to internet is a fundamental right. So there is a curtailment of this fundamental right very much frequently in part of Jammu and Kashmir. We see that there have been terrorist attacks are still happening in Jammu and Kashmir. Like last year, Pahalgam. Last year we have Pahalgam attack. From time to time, there have been smaller incidences of terrorist attack or terrorism in case of Jammu and Kashmir. So this is one part where we have not been able to control. We have not been able to control in case of terrorism also. We see that there has been widespread use of, there has also been widespread use of draconian legislations. Okay. There have been widespread use of draconian legislations like UAPA. Okay. So we see that like there is widespread use of this. Frequent summon. There have been frequent summon to people. Frequent summon to thousands of people for various incidences. So we see that there have been frequent summon also to various people after certain events. Like when there was an attack in Delhi, then also we have seen that there were more than 2000 summons which were given to different citizens of India in Jammu and Kashmir. So various citizens of India who are living in Jammu and Kashmir, they have been given summons after after this attack in Delhi near Red Fort. Last year, you may be having this idea that near the Red Fort there was an explosion, and after that there were frequent summon to so many people in Jammu and Kashmir. So these are the changes, or these are the things which we see here. That on one side we see that the LG is having more power. So the question here is that why there should be restoration of statehood. That why there should be restoration of statehood. So here it is for upholding the spirit of constitution. The constitution says that the country and its citizens are going to be governed by the democratically elected government. The main part is that in any part of the country, I will come to your questions, just wait for it. In any part of the country, when we are having any state or any place, there must be a democratically elected government which should be governing over the people. That is a basic part of our constitution. That is a basic thing under our constitution. An elected government is accountable and responsible towards citizens. So if there is an elected government, then it is more accountable and responsible towards the citizens. It can be questioned in legislature. It can be questioned in legislature. It will make policy as per willingness of citizens. Like, see this one part. Right now we have got this exam paper leak. So what we see that after this there was a protest in the country, and we have seen that the parliament has to make a law for this. The parliament have to make a law for this immediately. So we see that when there is an elected government, they have to be responsible, they have to take measures as per the people. They have to be accountable, they have to be responsible towards the need of the people, towards the demand of the people. Okay. So this is also for check and balance. This is also required for check and balance. So democratically elected government is something which is a necessity for any of the state, for any of the part of the country. So this is one thing which is required, which has to be done as soon as possible. So this is one of the situation with Jammu and Kashmir, that first we have seen what has been done in Jammu and Kashmir, what was the intent behind it. Then we see that how it had changed and what has been the recent changes, what has been the demand also. We have seen that what are the existing challenges, and plus at the same time why there is a need to restore the statehood of Jammu and Kashmir. The question here is not even about that should we consider Article 370. There is no question on that. There is no question on that part that do we need to reconsider our position on Article 370. There is no question about that. The question is only this, that the statehood of Jammu and Kashmir, that has to be again restored. So that is one of the article. On the basis of it, we are having this one question. The basic structure of Indian Constitution advocates for democratic rule. In this context, examine the situation in Jammu and Kashmir post Article 370 abrogation. I hope you can write this answer also. तो अब आप इसका आंसर लिख सकते हो. Now there is a question, can democracy remain meaningful if citizens elect a government but the real executive power rests with an unelected authority like LG? So I think now you got the answer from here itself. Okay. Now I think you can get the answer from here itself, that when we have discussed this article, I think your question is clear now. देखो, there is one question that how and why the states can be considered as UT. There is no such fixed criteria for it. There is no such fixed criteria for it. The thing is, it is as per the requirement of the state, it is as per the sensitivity of the state, it is as per the situation in the state or situation in the region. What are draconian legislations? See, draconian legislations are those which are used to curtail the liberty of citizens. Which are used to curtail the liberty of citizens. नहीं, daily इस time पे class नहीं होगी. The classes will be in the morning at 8:15. Just for today, since I was traveling, and it is a very much pleasant weather here in Prayagraj also. It's very much pleasant. When I came here in the morning, it was drizzling, and then after there was a moderate shower, not very high or not very high intensity or very strong, but a moderate shower. Even when I was coming to the class, to the studio, then also it was having, we were seeing this rainfall. So it's quite a pleasant weather also here. So that's why we have changed the time to 10 today. But from tomorrow, we will have the timing at 8:15. Take care of yourself, Neelu. I think you have been frequently getting admitted, so you should be taking care of your health. Okay. So we will have that session tomorrow at 8:15. Now see, we are having some questions from last day. कल हम लोगों ने कुछ टॉपिक देखा था. Let us see that one question. AI systems have emerged as a far bigger threat to national security than any other technological developments. Okay. Yes. कब मिल सकते हैं? Let me settle here for a few days, then I will let you know. We will come to this question. Why did per capita income go down after abrogation of Article 370? It should go up. See, the thing is, for a very long period of time, the economic activities were shut down in Jammu and Kashmir. For a very long period of time, we have seen that the economic activities were shut down. Even now, there are so many restrictions. There are so many restrictions on movement, due to which the economic activities have not grown at the same pace. AQO is also very low. Maharashtra, yes, that is my next target. I think not this year, but maybe next year I will be visiting there. Okay. Today we are having only two topics, because in the Hindu there were 3 articles. One was related to politics. So we don't discuss political articles, not important for our examination purpose. That's why we have not discussed it. There were 2 articles with respect to GS paper. So we have discussed that. Okay. Ahmedabad, हाँ वो भी आऊँगा. Okay. Now come to this part. AI systems have emerged as a far bigger threat to national security than any other technological development. And the keyword here was elucidate. Elucidate means you have to explain and give examples. Explain and give examples. Okay. Now, when we are talking about this question, how we are going to write it? Here, in the introduction, you can start with the option of Mythos AI. Since right now it is very much popular, you can talk about Mythos AI. Or there is an alternative option. Suppose if there have been any such recent summits or recent development, if suppose there is any recent summit or development with respect to this, you can talk about that also. You can talk about that also. Then this is the part where we have to go for this one part, that how we can introduce this. Now we have to mention that how it is a bigger threat to national security or to any country. So you will give a subheading. Here you will start with a subheading that threats to national security due to AI. Okay. Now here you have to expand it in all the possible dimensions. One of the part can be that how it is a threat to the economic challenges, that how it can cripple the economic system, that is one of the part. Okay, that how it can cripple the economic system. You can give some examples. That how AI have been used to impact the stock markets, or how it has been used to create rumors. Okay, so rumors or stock market impact, you can give some examples with respect to this. Okay, you can give some example with respect to it. Then the second part is you can talk about the misinformation. That how misinformation is creating a situation, and here you can especially tell about the Operation Sindoor, that how it is creating a challenge. Then the fake narrative. You can talk about misinformation also, plus you can talk about the fake narratives also. Sometimes anti-country or anti-nation sentiments are also being propagated with the help of AI. AI can create deep fake videos, AI can create deep fake images, AI can create multiple news articles which seems to be real. So that is one of the challenge which you can talk about. Then you can use about the military. Here you can talk about multiple dimensions, like how AI based surveillance can be there. Okay, AI based autonomous weapons. Okay, so you can talk about the AI surveillance, autonomous weapons, how it is impacting. Then you can also talk about this one thing, how it is a threat to national critical infrastructure. Here you can talk about the Kudankulam. Here you can give example of Kudankulam nuclear power plant leak. Okay. Now, while you are talking about this, if you want, you can do one more thing. That after writing this introduction, you can make a flow chart. And here you can talk about capacity of AI models. Last day we have seen this, that they are having dynamic nature. They are continuously evolving. They can do autonomous attacking. So you can add the features just after the introduction. You can add the features of it in a flow chart. Then after you can talk about how there is a threat to national security due to AI. Now, since you have highlighted the threat, it is now your responsibility. You will be adding two more things. Okay, on that page, on one side, you can mention government steps. Just do it in the form of flow chart itself. And on the other side, write about the way forward. Write that how we can overcome this situation. What should be done with respect to that? From the global level to the national level, what has to be done? And then you can write the conclusion. You can write the conclusion. In conclusion, you can emphasize on multi-stakeholder discussion involving citizens, governance, government, tech companies, and global partners. So there will be a multi-stakeholder approach from the citizens to the government to the tech companies to the global partners. We have to come together in order to find the solutions which are emerge to find the solutions for the problems which are emerging due to AI in the present era. Okay. So you have to focus on multi-stakeholder approach, because this cannot be done unilaterally by government. You cannot do it unilaterally by government. It has to be done at multiple levels, from the citizens to the government to the tech companies plus the global powers. They all have to come together in order to solve the crisis because of this AI development. So I hope this is clear, that when the question is about elucidate, you have to mention the examples. Like we have seen the examples of Kudankulam. We have seen that how AI is being used for surveillance and others. So you have to add multiple examples. Last day when we have seen the topic, we have seen some examples. But it is a duty from your side that with respect to the topic, you should be adding some more examples with respect to AI. I hope that is clear how to write this answer. So when the keyword is elucidate, what you have to do, I hope it's now clear. This is an answer which you have to write in 150 words. So first we have gone for intro, then we have gone for a flowchart, capacity of AI models. Then we have discussed the different portions. We have given the examples. Then we have added government steps using flowchart. Here also the same thing. Do not use too much words. You have a limitation, 150 words. You have a limitation of 150 words. So use your words wisely. Okay. So this is how you have to write the answer. Tomorrow we will meet again at 8:15. Tomorrow we will meet again at 8:15 a.m. on the same channel. The current affair classes, this is going to be scheduled on KGS IAS Hindi platform. Okay. And the time for the next week and this week is 3:45 to 4:45. Okay. So this will be the timing for the current affair class. Okay. This will be the timing for the current affair class. Okay. So thank you everyone. Take care. Let's meet tomorrow at the 8:15 time and today in the evening or afternoon at 3:45. Okay. So that will be all for today. नहीं मैंने ignore नहीं किया. I have seen that message. Okay. Yes, Nilu, we have 1 minute time. Can you type fast? But we are having certain limitations of time now, so that's why. Tomorrow we will discuss. Okay. So, thank you everyone. Let's meet tomorrow. Take care. Thank you.